All right, so like I mentioned, we're going to do this quarterly update to give you an idea of what we've done differently on our products, new features in our products, or enhancements we've made or fixes we've made, as well as updates on any other support items. So first of all, we'll go over our new resources. So we've just recently launched a support center. So this is available through our main site, or you can go there directly, support.etcorp.ca, and it's modeled around asking a question. So if you want to know, how do I upgrade the firmware on the Alien 2 controller, you can just type that in the support bar, and it will autofill that and bring up articles related to that. And we're always adding content, and so those articles will grow over time. If you do have something that you'd like to see covered, just send us a note. We do actually check on occasion to see what hasn't yielded a positive result in the search, so we can see that as well, even if people aren't submitting that to us. We've also got access to training programs. So you can see on the top here, there's a link for training. So like this training course, other ones on getting started with our products, other more general training courses like on Haslock or Modbus, those are already available there. So we do post upcoming live training sessions, as well as we do record them and put historical ones so that we can build up this base of training materials for anybody that comes later to the game. As well, under this products tab, you'll actually see product specific tools and documentation, replacement parts, accessories. We're trying to bring all the resources for each of our products to a single page. So you'll notice most of it missing on our marketing site now, but once again, there is a link back to these pages. So you can get the downloads for the latest software and tools and everything right at that one spot, so you don't have to go searching for it. As well as if people want to submit a repair request or an RMA, that's available through there. And if you can't find what you're looking for, you can submit a ticket, and this is going into a ticketing system that we're watching on an ongoing basis, and we try to respond to anything within 24 hours. But we do encourage you to first search the support center to see if you can find the answer to your question before submitting that ticket. I won't go there now. I'll let you explore that on your own, and hopefully you can find some answers to the common questions that you might have. So we've also taken the opportunity, if you notice at the top of this, there's also a link for resellers. So if anybody is a reseller, what we've done is we've developed a reseller training program as well that helps anybody become an expert in ETC products. So this is available to anybody to peruse if they want, but it basically goes over how to market, sell, pilot, and scale with ETC products. So there's a little bit of background on the company. There's these processes that help anybody go through that. And then there's also, beyond that there's an ETC expert section. And so we've highlighted a number of articles that we think provide the most value. So things like upgrading firmware, interacting with our sensors to see what they see, maybe common things like some of our background on geomagnetic sensing. And so this really is another resource that shows all of the key skills that anybody needs to know in order to sell, install, and support ETC products. And so once again, if anybody has any feedback on that, it's great, but it's really meant to make resellers experts on ETC products, but it might also be a good resource for anybody in-house at a production company as well. So, in terms of resources, we really wanted to provide a lot of helpful information around certification. This seems to be a weak point in the market where people don't really understand what it means to be certified. And we've seen the rise of some competitors that are selling products that appear to be certified, but really aren't. And so there's this gap of knowledge because people are being snowed a bit. They don't understand that they're being sold something that's not actually certified. So what we've done is we've created a bunch of information that starts with a support article. It also culminates in a larger training course. But if you want to read the article, it's like about a 5-minute read, but there's also a training course, which is about a half an hour. And so we go over, how to find certification information on their spec sheet or their brochure, how to look at the labels on the outside of these products. And a lot of these times, these non-certified products don't have this certification information or this product label. As well, the manufacturer should be providing a control drawing in the box. Once again, our article goes over what this control drawing looks like, the amount of information on there, what that information means, really showing, what areas it's certified for, how to connect it to other systems, how to wire it. All of that stuff is on that control drawing. And then finally, if you actually use the manufacturer's website or the certifier's website, you should be able to download their certificate. We make it available on our website. All of our certification information from CSA and Intertech is published publicly. And then, if you go to the certifier's website, so in a lot of cases we use CSA. If you go to CSA and you look up Extreme Telematics, you'll find all of our certification records there. So we're very transparent about this, and we're hoping to share that information with everybody so they understand, at least if you're buying an uncertified product, that it's uncertified and you're not under any kind of misguided information that's showing you that there might be certification when there isn't. And then we also, there's some articles on our website that go over why certified products cost more, which obviously includes, we have higher quality components. Sometimes there's like triple redundant components, the testing process it goes through. So there is a number of different reasons, and we've included this in our support site to give more transparency to people. And I can provide this presentation at the end in PDF format or in PowerPoint to download, so you have all the links to this information. So as for product enhancements, so we have been working on making our products better in the background with some of the slow time. So one of the features that we've implemented is GAPL, so gas-assisted plunging. And we've always had some of these features in our product, but we've kind of wrapped them all together into a common feature. If your mic's on, maybe just mute. I think someone's maybe come online. We just got a little bit of background noise there. So with the Alien 2 Expert in particular, this is the product that's used to do GAPL. We've added a feature called Gapple Time or Gapple Pressure. And so what Gapple Time does is allows you to inject gas down the casing before opening to rise the plunger. Gapple Pressure, while you can still use that inject prior to opening, what it's really doing is it's saying don't go to rise until the casing pressure has met a minimum threshold. So if you want to just run on time, you can. And if you want to run on time and pressure, you can do that as well. If you just want to run on pressure, you set that injection time to a minimum, which is 1 second, just because it can't be set to 0. And once again, we have a full support article that shows you exactly where to turn this on, how to configure it, how to use the simulator to simulate it. But this is something that we've seen that's really taken off more recently with a move towards GAPL, especially replacing gas injection or rod pump wells. GAPL is growing quite rapidly, so we wanted to have a number of features in there to support that. Another problem we've been seeing that we've addressed more recently is the Cyclops Connector coming loose. So our Cyclops plunger arrival sensor, it's mounted on the lubricator, and so it does see a lot of vibrations on each plunger arrival. Now, depending on how tight the connector is and how violent the impacts are, you may or may not be seeing this problem. As well, we've had 3 different versions of the Cyclops. So once again, I've written a support article on this, but here's the highlights. The first version of Cyclops, it has the ETC logo on it, and there's less headroom. So the connector likely isn't going to come loose on those ones because it ends up hitting the lid. When we made an enhanced version, which you can see with the Cyclops lid on it, when we went to this new enclosure, we provided a bit more depth so that it was easier to install the connector. So we didn't have any potting material leak out the threads, which was a common failure in this. And sometimes the connector would stick up too high. So we added this more headroom, and you can see there's a gap here. But one of the unfortunate side effects of having more headroom is now these connectors could sometimes back off. So a temporary fix for that is we can provide a rubber stopper. You can see it installed in the lid here, and we show instructions on how to install this to brace that connector. And it still isn't electrically connected, so it's isolated electrically, but it will stop that connector from coming loose. But we also did address it in the product by creating version 3, which you can identify internally by this green connector. And so version 3 actually has a screw down hold to it, so that once you install all your wires, you plug in the connector, you can choose to tighten these screws on the side to keep the connector from coming loose. So that is, we've incorporated that into the product. But some in the supply chain, depending on the reseller that you're working with, may still have some with this black connector. And like I said, there's that temporary fix. So once again, we have written a support article. It goes over all these 3 different versions, how to address it with version 2, and what the enhancements are in version 3. So in terms of new offerings, we do have a couple of new offerings. First of all, we've found a large stockpile of our controller that is 1 version previous. It is the Alien 2 Expert. What we've done is we've purchased these back from one of our resellers. We've completely reconditioned them, but there are some differences from new. And so we are willing to sell these at a lower cost. There's really nothing wrong with them, but we want to be transparent about what has changed because we have enhanced the controller since these were manufactured. So it is a previous mechanical version. So you can identify that with these tabs. In the newest version, we actually use studs and the holes are in the brackets instead. So it is this previous mechanical version that, you know, in shipping, sometimes these tabs can bend a little bit, but once again, they can be bent back, or, you know, we package them a little differently so we don't get that bending. Also, the solenoid, we did change manufacturers of the solenoid. So we were using a solenoid from Alcon. It used to also be referred to as ECI, and it was being manufactured more recently under the Xylem name, but they do say Alcon on the side of them. They were discontinued by the manufacturer, so there is a lack of replacement parts, like the poppets inside are no longer available. We have since transitioned to a GEMS solenoid. So when you buy a brand new controller, it does come with a GEMS solenoid, but these ones still have Alcon on them. These haven't actually been installed, so they are still brand new, but you have to buy them understanding that the poppets won't be available for them. And then as well, we have enhanced the circuit board. So the circuit board has, in our newest controller, does have 1 enhancement that improves performance with newer versions of AST sensors. We've actually moved to selling GEMS pressure transducers. So GEMS pressure transducers will work with these older controllers and anyone. But if you are using an AST transducer, be aware that some of their newer ones don't work as well with these refurbished controllers. But like I said, the latest version of our product, we've enhanced it to include working with these new AST transducers. So once again, you just have to be aware of that. If you use GEMS sensors, you won't have a problem. And then as well, we've introduced a lower cost version of our controller. So historically, all our controllers have been -40 to +160 Fahrenheit rated. A lot of that comes with the types of batteries we use, the VFD, the vacuum fluorescent display screen that we use. You know, it's all certified. This lower cost product, we use a lower cost display, a lower cost battery. It only will work with up to 1 solenoid, whether, you know, the newer or the certified models, you can run with 2 or 3. So you can see here is a little bit less standby time, a little narrower operating temperature. So you know, it's really only good, the screen's good to about 0 Fahrenheit. You know, it obviously doesn't work with the Sasquatch or doesn't have surface velocity. So there's a few less features. It is uncertified. So for people that are just cost conscious but don't care about certification or reliability in colder temperatures, this is an offering that we've now made available. So it does shave off a bit off the price to get into those other markets. So if you do want more details on that, you can follow up with Chris or myself and contact our authorized resellers who do have access to this product and pricing on it and can offer a more competitive price. Another thing that we've introduced is the faceplate refurbishment. So we do have a number of controllers that have been put out into the market over the years under different various brands. Some of them have different software. Some of them are just different graphic layers. So the most recognizable one of this is the PipBoss 2 or PipBoss 2 Plus controllers. These ones did have a different software program in them, different Modbus map, different graphics layer. But the people that and PIT has gone out of business. What we've done is we've said to the customers that were using this is, this has been discontinued, obviously, because PIT's out of business, but you can still make use of this product. If you do have failures, or if you just want to rework it to be the Alien 2 controller or Alien 2 Expert, we've put a program in place that's running until October 15th where you can return these and have them reworked for a fixed price. So once again, this is done through our other existing resellers. They can make that available. What we do is we take this faceplate, we reprogram it, we put a new keypad on it, we make sure we completely test it, just like we did with the refurbished controllers. We completely rework it, and then you can take it and put it back into that controller in the field. And now you can have basically a brand new Alien 2 controller that you can connect to with SCADA. It's got current replacement parts and current software support. And then we also give you a 1-year warranty with it. So you've got some longevity and you've got this continuity from a business perspective. As well, to help this transition and also to help people adopt our products, we are providing discounted replacement faceplates. So these are brand new faceplates. We are manufacturing these in volume to help with these transitions from older brands. So we can provide a deeper discount especially on volume. So we're aggregating volume from all of our customers and all of our resellers, and we're building these in hundreds so that you can get a better price on them. They can be used for a lot of different reasons. Swapping in case of failure. So if you do have a failure, you can quickly swap in a new one. Not that we have a lot of failures. But if you want to upgrade the firmware, you can upgrade your spare faceplate and swap it in. You can keep a stock of spare parts well into the future. And they're really handy for hands-on training. So you don't need a full controller, especially if you're doing any kind of classroom training with operators or field personnel. And once again, this discount on these bulk purchases of faceplates lasts until October 15th this year. So that's all I really had, to go over. The biggest thing obviously being the support center, and most of the content that I went over here is available on the support center. So I really do encourage you to go out and try out the support center, and do let me know if there's anything else we can add to make things better for, if you're a reseller or a customer. We're always looking to add more resources and make sure that people are successful with our product.